This week on SpokeTV, our reporters were busy around town at hometown hockey in Guelph.
Just a tribute to all the amazing things and fun things about the game of hockey.
And find out what was shown off at the Home and Garden Show.
Gives you some great exposure because word of mouth is always the best.
Plus, why a former paramedic turned to the pen to write her life story.
Coped with it in a negative way, and that led to a suicide attempt, which I'm grateful I'm here and grateful that it brought me to help.
Find out more on this week's episode.
Hello and welcome to SpokeTV. We've got a great show for you today. I'm Cassandra McNeil.
And I'm Tyler LaCours. Mental health is a growing crisis that affects more people than you may think. A former paramedic knows firsthand the difficulties that many people face. SpokeTV's Christina Bruce spoke with the paramedic turned author to see how she copes with her struggles.
Natalie Harris, a former paramedic, was at Chapters to sign copies of her new book, Save My Life School. The book came from her blog, which she started 2 years ago, talking about her mental health recovery.
I think when I was a kid, looking back and now knowing what I know, I had depression when I was a kid, but most of my other mental illnesses came when I was a paramedic on the road.
Harris's struggle with depression only grew stronger when she responded to a double homicide that was part of a satanic suicide pact in 2015. She says the incident led her down a path of drinking, eventually leading to a suicide attempt.
I didn't know how to deal with them. I didn't know how to manage the trauma that I saw, and it built up, and I coped with it in a negative way, and that led to a suicide attempt, which I'm grateful I'm here and grateful that it brought me to help.
Harris has since been in recovery, but says that some days are still tough.
There's still difficult days, like anything, but I never thought I'd be here today, that's for sure. So.
Mental health is a sensitive issue that many people find hard to talk about. Natalie Harris, a former paramedic who has gone through a long journey, has put her personal story into her book. Owner of Winter Tickle Press, Heather Down, heard Natalie's story from her neighbor and was very moved by the paramedic's journey.
Once I actually read it, I was completely blown away and in tears within 20 pages. I actually had to stop reading.
Down knew she had to get the story published.
And now, as I share my story, stigma melts away, and it makes it easier for me to talk to people about their vulnerability. And it's a blessing for people. You know, I'm just so grateful that people trust me and open up to me, and I do my best to help them through their dark times. So,
for SpokeTV, I'm Christina Bruce.
Students should stay on the lookout for the latest news on the possibility of a GRT strike that could take place this week, depending on if both parties can reach an agreement. SpokeTV's Justine Fraser waits for the answers along the road with other concerned students.
Many people around the Waterloo region will be downloading the Uber app in the possibility that bus drivers go on strike. The union representing Grand River Transit workers, Unifor Local 4304, must give 2 days' notice if a strike will occur. Negotiations resumed over the weekend, and a tentative agreement was met between both parties, avoiding a strike and disruption to public service. According to a statement released by Unifor, ratification votes will be held April 3rd, and a new strike deadline has been set for 5 a.m. on April 5th, in the event that the union does not approve the agreement. Around 66,000 daily public transit riders, like Mikhail Chazine, a student at Conestoga College, would be affected by a GRT strike.
If the bus drivers go on strike, I'm not going to be able to get back and forth to school.
Other people whose daily lives would be impacted include new immigrants to Canada, who rely on the transportation services when they get here. A student at the University of Waterloo helps immigrants living in the region and believes the city's transit is one of the biggest appeals.
I actually think there's a good network set up here. Like you've talked about, like the family and the friends aspect of it, but also just like the great transportation service that we have here and things like that.
The union is pushing for better workplace health and safety, along with other workplace issues. The buses will continue to run as normal until the event that a strike happens. A GRT strike would affect many people in the Waterloo region, including students who are just about to finish for the school year. For SpokeTV, I'm Justine Fraser.
Ion trains. The Waterloo region has been planning them for years, and the public can finally have a look at one at an open house at 518 Dutton Drive in Waterloo on April 8th from 1 to 5. Reporter Robert Kabinga has more.
For those who take public transit, the long wait may finally be coming to an end. The region of Waterloo and Grand Link are nearing completion of Phase 1 of their rapid transit system on schedule. Greg Proctor, the project manager of the Ion, says he's pleased with the progress made so far.
The region of Waterloo has been meeting its expectations by Grand Link by having the design and build of this very complex system in an under 3-year period.
However, this isn't to say that the trains will be rolling into stations anytime soon. After experiencing a 4-month delay with delivery of the first train from Bombardier, they are hopeful to receive the other 13 soon.
The train is here. We're excited about that, and the delivery of the remainder of the trains are expected here by the end of this year.
The region is expecting to have the system operational sometime in early 2018, running between Waterloo and Kitchener. Some transit riders say that they are looking forward to riding the rails.
Yeah, I guess I do plan on taking that on. I got to make a couple connections because I'm up by the hospital a lot, and I come into Doon here.
Being from England, I'm a huge proponent of public transport, and I've been looking forward to it for a few years now.
And this might just give them their chance. Residents can step inside an Ion car at an upcoming open house. On April 8th from 1 p.m. to 5 p.m., the facility at 518 Dutton Drive in Waterloo will be open to the public. Visit rideion.ca for more information.
After the break, we have an exclusive interview with the newest member of the Conestoga Students Incorporated Board of Directors.
Many cultural organizations in the region go unnoticed, with the Ontario Cultural Attraction Funds rewarding thousands of dollars to local cultural institutions. SpokeTV's Justin Emmanuel had a look at who else may deserve more recognition.
The Ontario Cultural Attractions Fund recently awarded $165,000 to 3 local cultural hotspots in the region, in the first wave of funding to be given out this spring and summer. Despite the large sum, many local cultural and artistic communities go unnoticed. Gordon Hatt, executive director of a company that brings artistic expression to public places, said that while recalling a recent trip to Quebec, he wishes the region would recognize itself as a center for art.
There was just so much interest locally in what they were doing in Quebec City. Just so much pride in their culture, in the culture that they're presenting.
David Marskell, CEO of the museum, one of the recipients of the recent funding, said that while they have no problem attracting people, it's not as easy for individuals without a name behind them to get noticed. He believes that before the region can fully identify as a cultural neighborhood, the word must first be spread locally.
It's happening. I think there's a missing communication piece that even people locally don't get it, that it is a thriving, vibrant place.
Marskell hopes to help build the name of the region by working with major local cultural organizations to create a large annual exhibition. While the Waterloo region is known for its booming tech sector, certain individuals believe that other industries may not be as seen or as heard as they deserve. Hatt said that Waterloo has such a strong reputation as Canada's Silicon Valley that the artistic face of the region sometimes feels as if only to serve as an attraction for more technology.
High-tech talent wants to come because there's something to do, and that's great. But I think culture is its own reward, that that people who create culture create a community where I'd like to live.
For SpokeTV, I'm Justin Emmanuel.
Kitchener Waterloo's annual Home and Garden Show happened this past weekend, and with over 100 vendors, there were lots of choices for attendees of the show. SpokeTV's Stefan Singh checked it out.
Thousands flocked to the Kitchener Auditorium for the annual Kitchener Waterloo Home and Garden Show. Ticket scanners had a very busy weekend as people of all ages were in attendance on day 2 of the 3-day show. For Beverly Hills Home Improvements employee Nippy Watson, he enjoys coming to the event and chatting with people about the products they have.
It gives us fantastic exposure. You can advertise on TV or on radio and whatnot, but being here with people gives you some great exposure because word of mouth is always the best.
The Kitchener Waterloo Home and Garden Show sells out annually and has over 15,000 visitors per year. There were over 100 different vendors at the show this year, each offering something different that someone could be looking for. The vendors included ADT, Water Closet, Millbank Family Furniture, Kitchener Waterloo Honda, and Steel. There were multiple sales associates at each booth able to answer any questions potential buyers had. And with large and intricate displays, answering questions was easy for some. 10-year veteran of the Home and Garden Show, Craig Foxworthy, fielded lots of questions about one specific product he had to offer.
Most is about our flooring, our floor coating, which is what I'm standing on here, is probably the most popular item that we get a lot of questions on, the installation process, the warranty, that sort of thing.
With summer right around the corner, landscaper booths were very busy with people trying to get ready for those enjoyable, warmer nights. For first-year attendee Frank Phelan, he and his wife attended this year because of the convenience of the event.
Just saw it online and the opportunity to see many manufacturers in one spot and not have to drive around and go from location to location, and it's been terrific.
The KW Home and Garden Show ran from March 31st to April 2nd. For SpokeTV, I'm Stefan Singh.
If you were anywhere on Conestoga's Dune campus at the end of March, you would have seen that the school was running an election for their Students Association Board of Directors. Last week, amidst the campaigning, I spoke to the newly elected Stephanie Olson. So I'm joined here in studio by CSI Board of Directors candidate Stephanie Olson. Stephanie, thanks for joining me.
Thanks for having me.
Why did you run for CSI Board of Directors?
I ran for CSI Board of Directors because I wanted to make a change in the school that's really cliche, but I have a lot to bring to the table when it comes down to it. I have a history in law because of my program. I was in police foundations. I am an advocate for mental health awareness. I'm generally just really passionate about people.
You're involved here at the school. What are you involved in?
I work with CSI as part of the LGBTQ plus group. I actually kind of initialized it. Nobody was really in charge of it, so I decided to take that on. It now has over 100 plus members. Cool little Facebook group, and we do little events and stuff like that.
Why did you start the group that you're part of?
I started it because I first went to like a trivia night, and I saw that there's some really great people that came out, but they didn't really have anywhere to go other than really like once a night events. So I decided that I wanted to make it more frequent, and I wanted to see them again.
When do you find out about the election?
I find out about the election tonight, so that would be March 30th at midnight. Well, that would be March 31st, but 11:59.
So thank you very much for joining me. Results will be posted as of March 31st on CSI's website. So best of luck to you, and back to you, Cass, at the desk.
Thanks, Tyler. Mental health affects us all. The suicide rate for people aged 15 to 19 is 7.7% out of 100,000 people. Since 2012, there have been 10 deaths by suicide of university students. In late March, a student was found dead at the University of Waterloo. The second suicide in just 3 months by the university students prompted a petition urging the school to take action on mental health. The petition received its goal of 15,000 signatures, and an advisory committee on mental health that will seek input from students, staff, and the community has been put into place. The school will soon hold 3 open houses for students and staff to seek help and to find out what services are available to them. The committee is set to release a report in the fall.
Next up, did you know that enrollment is increasing at Conestoga College through Aboriginal students? We'll have more on that story when we come back. The enrollment of Aboriginal students at Conestoga College has doubled since 2010. The college believes creating the Aboriginal Student Center to provide resources, cultural and academic support is a big reason for this growth. Bruno Sabella has more.
A dream catcher, drumming, and a traditional powwow. These First Nation students and community members are proudly displaying their culture at Conestoga College.
They get so invigorated. They're excited to bring their families here. They're excited to celebrate their culture, and they actually do better when they start back to school.
A culture once forced into suppression during the early 1900s at Canada's residential schools. Today, a different story. The number of First Nation students attending Conestoga College is on the rise. There are currently 500 students. That number 5 years ago was just 130.
Our Aboriginal student population is growing, so you'll see a lot of our students here also.
The more people that are attending school and learning more and broadening their education is absolutely fantastic.
Unfortunately, today some First Nation students are still treated differently. The celebration on campus promotes the culture, and it's a great source of information.
Let's get rid of the stereotypes and and negative energy and racism out there and learn about each other so that we can all live in this world the way Creator wants us to be.
This was the 7th year Conestoga College has held a powwow. It takes place in February every year.
Conestoga students ran a communications conference for communications and marketing experts from around the region. SpokeTV's Alan Broadhagen has more on how the conference went.
Waterloo's first ever communications and digital marketing conference, called Breakthrough, was held on March 29th. The International Association of Business and Communications partnered with Conestoga College to run the conference at the Walper Hotel in Kitchener. Students at Conestoga were responsible for getting guest speakers and sponsors, as well as doing event promotions, registrations, and budget management. Second-year Conestoga student Rachel Felix says she's very proud of the conference and all of the work that her and her classmates put into it when they only had 3 months to plan it.
It was amazing. It's so awesome to see months of hard work finally come to fruition and to be here at this beautiful venue and see so many happy, smiling faces. Feels really rewarding.
Guest speaker Ellen Winters Robinson says it was a great way for students to network themselves and that it adds to a growing communications field.
Well, I think what's really very cool is to see the number of communicators now in this area. When I first started my profession, there was a handful of people, and now because of the Conestoga program, where they're producing some really high caliber, quality people, we're seeing those people now dispense out into the community, and it's just really cool to see them all come together.
The conference provided everyone who attended brainstorming sessions and multiple guest speakers from around the region. Winters Robinson, who is a PR mentor at Waterloo's Accelerator Center, says things are changing in marketing and public relations, and that people with great storytelling and communication skills are always needed.
I think it's a really fantastic time for communications. With everything that's happening in marketing, we're seeing the role of content, the role of brand storytelling becoming paramount in most organizations, the very largest of global brands. So they're needing people that have great storytelling and communication skills and writing skills. So it's a fabulous time to be in the profession.
For SpokeTV, I'm Alan Broadhagen.
Volunteering can help build a student's resume, self-confidence, and professional network. Companies have to spend some time training students, but the benefits are usually worth it. Reporter Andrew Bridson discovered that volunteers are especially integral to Rogers TV.
This is a look at how local television comes to life. Here in the control room of Rogers TV, local producers and volunteers are in the process of shooting, directing, and switching Rogers Daytime, a news and information program airing weekdays at 11 in the morning.
Rogers TV relies heavily on their volunteers. Without the volunteers, most of our productions just wouldn't happen.
And the volunteers rely heavily on Rogers to gain experience and knowledge of the TV industry.
This as a work placement, but when I'm finished, I'll keep going.
But it's not only students volunteering their time. Terry Wilden, a retired technologist at University of Waterloo, spends every Tuesday running the audio board.
The nice thing about Rogers is it's supplying opportunity for people, especially young people that might want to get into this business.
Experience is everything, from greeting guests at the front door, floor directing in the studio, and operating the cameras.
Working with community producers in the community to help their television dreams become reality.
What a dream it is to have your show aired on Rogers TV and seen by the community.
The benefits for the volunteers are almost endless.
If you would like to volunteer at Rogers TV, you can apply online at rogerstv.com/volunteer and enter the exciting world of television broadcasting. For SpokeTV, this is Andrew Bryson reporting.
Coming up, find out what our reporters think of the rebooted Power Rangers film.
The Power Rangers movie has hit theaters, and SpokeTV reporter Justine Fraser sat down with Stephanie Gick to find out if the film lived up to the original series.
I'm here with Stephanie Gick, who recently just saw the new Power Rangers movie. She's here to tell us a little bit more about it. Hi, Stephanie.
Hey, Justine. How are you doing?
Good. How are you doing?
I'm great, thanks.
So what was your favorite part of the new Power Rangers movie?
Definitely seeing them get into their suits for the first time was a really great part of the movie. It's actually armor in the movie, but it was really cool because there was so much backstory building up to that particular scene. So I thought it played really well with the movie.
Awesome. So who are some of the actors in the movie?
So the big names that you would have heard of in the movie are going to be Bill Hader. He plays Alpha. Zordon was played by the incredibly talented Bryan Cranston. I don't know many people who say they don't like him, and this movie's no exception. Probably one of my favorite characters in this movie was Zordon. And Rita Repulsa was played by Elizabeth Banks, who did a really incredible job bringing kind of that dark character to life on the screen.
Do you feel like it lived up to the original Power Rangers?
I'm gonna have to go with a hard no on that. There were a lot of holes in the movie there's a lot of unanswered questions. And for me, if you're trying to kind of lay the groundwork for this reincarnation of something that meant so much to so many people, it needs to have answered questions.
Would you like to see them keep remaking some more Power Ranger movies?
I would, and if you do stay after the credits, you will see an indication that they are going to continue.
And do you feel like other people in your generation, they feel a little nostalgia when they see this kind of movie?
Absolutely. To be honest, I'm the only person I know who's had any negative feedback about the movie. One thing that this movie really missed that I was a little disappointed with is the lack of Bulk and Skull. How are you going to have Power Rangers without Bulk and Skull? They were so important.
So would you like to see them change anything in the upcoming Power Ranger movie to suit?
Definitely tighten up the story a bit. When you're reincarnating something like this, when you're bringing this incredible story that's going to have so much nostalgia, people are going to want to bring their own kids to see it. You do have to live up to today's expectations of a movie.
So is there anything that old school fans should look out for?
There is. There's actually a very special cameo that old school Power Ranger fans will notice near the end of the film.
Awesome. Thanks for having time with us today, Stephanie.
Thank you so much, Justine. It was awesome.
So back to you guys in the studio.
Thanks, Stephanie. And in more entertainment news, April 2nd was the night of the award shows with the JUNOs and ACMs. The 2017 JUNOs opened with a skit featuring Prime Minister Justin Trudeau requesting Bryan Adams sing his hit song, Summer of '69, which was played to close the show. And the internet is still in shock after members of the Tragically Hit were played off the stage while accepting their award for Group of the Year. Keeping up with award drama, the ACMs poked fun at the Oscars' Best Picture mistake when Nancy O'Dell had held a card saying Emma Stone La La Land for the Song of the Year award. The award rightfully went to Thomas Rhett for Die Happy Man. The box office bomb of the week goes to Ghost in the Shell, which opened in North America to an estimated $19 million, while the film cost about $110 million to make. The Boss Baby has dethroned the current #1 at the box office, Beauty and the Beast, opening with a $49 million debut.
Thanks, Cassandra. The Rogers Hometown Hockey event was in Guelph April 1st and 2nd. Thousands of people went out to the event to catch live music, activities, and get the chance to get autographs from big hockey names. Saturday, April 1st and Sunday, April 2nd, hometown hockey came to the city of Guelph, with plenty of attractions including a viewing center where fans got to watch their favorite hockey teams, as well as a game of ball hockey in which one little Habs fan got a little bit too intense. I spoke with event co-host Tara Sloan and asked her what is hometown hockey.
Well, as you can kind of see around, the hometown hockey sort of on the ground part is a festival, so we're like a traveling circus, a traveling roadshow. We go across the country, you know, at this point, sort of tens of thousands of kilometers with a convoy of trucks. We have a stage set up, our mobile studio travels across the country, and then we have a whole bunch of tents and trailers that are set up with activities for the family. Everything is free, everything is family friendly, and then there's the broadcast component.
One of the events that took place during the festival was the Hockey Circus. The Hockey Circus is a one-man show put on by performer Paz. Paz's show is inspired and comes from the game of hockey. The show, which relies on a lot of fan involvement, generally runs about 35 minutes per performance, and always seems to leave spectators, whether hockey fans or not, smiling. I spoke to Paz about what got the show started.
Well, I perform the only hockey tribute show in the world. I'm the only person on the planet who juggles hockey sticks, and I light them on fire. It's basically just a tribute to all the amazing things and fun things about the game of hockey. I've been a circus artist for over 20 years, and you know, I've done a lot of serious stuff, I've done some comedy stuff, and I just looked around. I said, you know, no one's doing a tribute to hockey, and I thought it'd be really fun, and I mean, what better place than in Canada?
The event also featured the one true accessory for hockey parents, a cup of coffee.
So Guelph is top 23 of 24 of hometown hockey. It began in the beginning of the season in Newmarket and ends next week in Hamilton. Hometown hockey is a celebration of community, who we are as Canadians, and of course, the game of hockey. For SpokeTV, I'm Tyler LaCour.
Wow, Tyler, it looked like you had a really great time. What was with the running backwards?
Well, honestly, I was showing the kids some great backward skating techniques. No, honestly, though, some of the kids were firing snapshots at my legs.
Sounds painful.
Yeah, I was just showing the coach that I'm always able to lay the body on the line and give a whole full 100% effort out there.
Where's the next hometown hockey?
The next hometown hockey is coming April 7th and 8th to the city of Hamilton. If you're able to, definitely go check that out.
Well, that's all we have for you this week. Be sure to check us out online on Twitter, YouTube, and SpokeTV.ca. I'm Cassandra McNeil.
And I'm Tyler LaCours.